Some of it's off the books and that we talk about before we go on the journey, but this is not. From now on, this is on YouTube. And you're all involved in co-creating not only your own freedom, but helping bring the hue charge back into the atmosphere of Earth. This is automatic. This takes place when the hue crosses your path. Naturally, there's not enough people per square inch on Earth for you to notice it in your fellow beings or on a worldwide scale yet, but it is increasing. It takes boots on the ground who are doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is consciously knowing what they are as an Atma. That's self-realization. And knowing what your co-creative purpose is in existing with Source. That's God realization. It couldn't be made more clear. And nobody says it this way. Nobody speaks it this way on Earth. It's all mumbo jumbo and abstract. God realization, and it's way up there. And God, when you get into it, then is that it? You're done? No, you're not done. There's no such thing as done. There is being aware and there's being unaware. When we're aware, we know what we are. When fear is gone in any form, we know what we are. It's still there. It's just, the analogy is if you look at the Earth and you Google what an electromagnetic field looks like, what advanced quantum physicists and astrophysicists call zero-point energy, the energy of the universe. And it works with anti-gravity and extraterrestrial technologies, but it isn't energy that's physical matter. You can't draw power from matter. You can only draw that from the source itself. And the source manifests whatever we imagine. We don't do that individually. It's a universal, the one force energy does not divide itself. So if we want to work with that kind of power and wisdom, we have to plug ourselves consciously into the one power that we already are. Best way I know to do that is to go on a journey back home. Above the void, guided, special friends from out of town, and just dive into the ocean of light and sound and bring some of that back here because it changes consciousness. As it moves through you for your benefit, it moves past you for the benefit of others. And it only works one way now. To answer your question, Virgil, the hue expansion ray is a new consciousness moving through the omnipresent first sound behind creation. Or the hue, first half of the word hue, however you want to say it. Divine spirit. That's outer space. That's all the space that doesn't seem to be anything but void, and it isn't, that little things that are made of matter float in electromagnetic fields. Allows them to balance with each other in this other field of energy. That's why they turn on an axis. That's why the Earth does. This toroidal field comes out the south pole of the Earth, goes in the north. It's a huge donut-shaped field around the outside of the mantle of the Earth, outside the atmosphere, in space. And it allows it to have a balance between other magnetic fields. The electromagnetic field is made of the hue as well, in a certain form. The way it works allows it to balance itself in this other omnipresent one energy. The same field exists around the galaxy, out the South Pole, in the North Pole. It's a more elongated, oval, donut-shaped field, but it's there. The same field exists around us as spherical beings, out the South Pole, in the North. It's in that field of energy that things are planted. It's the artificial creation of subconsciousness in that field. So that if a person on Earth was a political prisoner, if a person on Earth found themselves born here with no memory, which all of us have, then they don't know that they have been around since the beginning. They couldn't know. They only have this life to look at to compare to anything, and people on Earth have been kept in the dark about the vast nature of God that lives in the other galaxies and universes and dimensions. They've been completely kept in the dark. This is not normal. It's not what other planets do with their people. It isn't the same. So it makes sense that beings who have no subconscious mind, who do not have fear growing up in their societies, are the ones who can help us out of this problem on Earth, because we come from them. Not everybody on this journey came from them. You weren't this life on Earth. You didn't just get born by God and here you are, this is your only life. People do that to feel good about themselves. It's absolute nonsense. What can you learn in one lifetime in a twin-stranded DNA body with shut down genomes from people, fellows on Earth? What can you learn? Not even a cure for the common cold exists here yet. That's absurd. Trillions have been spent on cancer cures. Do you see one in the public anywhere? Where'd the money go? Isn't that interesting? Where'd the trillions go? Are they that stupid they can't solve something like cancer? Well, they are if they don't take advantage of the beings who know how to do it, have known it for millions of years. Hundreds of millions of years. They don't even have these problems. These are the beings we're going to have to, I don't want to say humble before, but be respectful of, because we used to be them. The more we know we used to be them, the better off we can accept them in our company and vice versa. It's pretty simple. They can come here and land in 10,000 ships all over the planet when the vibration's high enough so people won't riot in the streets. That element in our societies has been allowed to proliferate, whether it's drug cartels or whether it's terrorists or whatever it might be, has been allowed by corrupt people to exist. And some of them were compromised and forced this way. Just like a reptilian puts an implant on you, says, don't you tell anybody how I died or I'll do it to you again. It's the same principle. It comes from the same original source, and that is not on this planet. It's interesting when you know this, because it sets us free to some degree to not be vulnerable to such things. We're not. None of you are. None of you can ever be caught by one of those creatures again, stuck in a body with no memory. That's quite over, permanently. Earth is still stuck with the programs, but there's no one here doing them anymore to anyone. What you're seeing is what's left. It's not pretty. So the only reason people don't remember is some kind of fear is lingering in their background subconsciously. It could be a primary implant, it could be a secondary implant, it could be any kind of fear. It doesn't even have to be an implant. It could be something that you were involved in 1 billion years ago and people died and you didn't mean it, and there's a guilt that goes with it, and it starts the downward process. Mostly out of ignorance, out of naivety, out of not knowing better. The omnipresent power just supports us all as we imagine things. It has a basic primary rule that it lives by. Love and do as you will. That's the only law there is in the void higher. There's no other law. That's it. One. And that means if we really love, we know the life that's in the entire creation, we respect it in each other, and that's it. We're done. Mm-hmm. Right? That is the ticket to the airplane ride all the way back to source. Knowing what you are, that's an Atma, not a body, not a brain, not your pineal gland, which has no ability to imagine anything. Brains in human bodies don't imagine anything. There's no faculty in the human brain cells to put a motion picture on some other brain cells so you can see stuff. Think about how silly that is. Absurd. So who or what is doing the real seeing and knowing when you imagine anything? It's not your brain. Never was, never will be, but it is that. These faculties and these different colors of the spectrum of light represent different dimensions. It's tied to all of them, connected to all of them. This is source, and it comes from source down through planes, especially up in the yellow and gold areas, and it comes into the void and it comes down into the lower worlds. The thing about the light around the outside of this is golden. It's source energy, and yet it can't be used as long as out here, there's these programs running and things that we've collected that are too big to be stored in a human brain. Multidimensional thinking and perception is not a function of the human brain on any planet, not even in the Galactic Alliance. This is what's wrong with people on Earth. They have no idea. They are not supposed to have a subconscious mind, and they're not supposed to be influenced by anything that they're not aware of. So Earth is an enigma. It's a problem that's quite difficult to solve. It's solvable, but not by us. Do you see what I mean? It can't really be solved by us on Earth the way we are. You'd have to be fully awakened Atma and then say, okay, I'm going to immortalize this body. First of all the genomes on your DNA that are shut off have to be turned on. That's just so you have a photographic memory and you're telepathic. With two-stranded DNA. That's normal. And then you can go through a transformation to get 4-stranded DNA or higher. Those bodies are capable of levitating, teleporting across planets, all kinds of stuff that we can't do the way these bodies are until they're fixed or changed or upgraded or something. It's really the Atma that must wake up, not the brain, not this lifetime, not anything you've learned in this lifetime. That's not what wakes up. It's you. And you're not the body. So there's nothing wrong with bodies. Bodies are great. They're fun. But they can be a pain in the ass, can't they? If they're not working or things don't seem right, we don't know what we're doing. Yeah, ask yourself why they don't even have a cure for the common cold after trillions of dollars have been spent, taken from taxpayers, and donated somewhere. They don't cure anything here. It's against better business. Fear makes money. That's the problem. It's the way it's set up, and that kind of change on a planetary scale to a planet like this got to come from outside. The greater God coming here because they know how to do it. And we're babies with this. We're supposed to be able to comprehend and accept it and embrace it. But Earth people are very much not only against each other and their own belief systems, they're very much terrified of life beyond Earth because that's the greater God. And if they confront that, they have to be responsible. They have to accept that they created Satan and saviors and all this in between opposites. They did it because they were also creators of the universe. And if you have the ability to create opposites and play with them, if you combine them into a harmonious energy, where the two revolve around each other like the yin and yang symbol, with the hue expansion ray around it, then you manifest without repercussions in space-time. Because the omnipresent power out there that you see around, all these things, galaxies, that blue and that black, that is the hue. It's unlimited. It's you can't even speak of it in terms of infinity. That's a concept. It is a living single power, and it is not an individual. You would not want to be merged with it in the sense that you become it, because then you would cease to be an individual. So this is a great game. This is that we remain individuals and fully capable of co-creating with Source is what this game is about. Always has been, always will be. Most of the other planets in our galaxy and elsewhere are way ahead of us. I mean, way ahead of people on Earth. Can't even compare them. If any of you were projected to Zetronomy 1, the Galactic Light Council, and walked around in that energy with glowing ocean waters, you'd just be blown away. You'd probably faint and have a heart attack or something. But that's normal to these people because their H2O is charged with the hue. They are cooperating. We're supposed to be doing that on this planet as conscious, trustworthy co-creators and caretakers and custodians of things. We don't own planet Earth. You don't even own your body. You can't keep it. If you have the ability to have someone help you immortalize your body, great, but you wouldn't want to do it at 99 years old, shriveled up like a prune. You'd want to reverse engineer or reverse age it first, right? Right. And then you'd want to be detached from it in that you can run it and enjoy it, but you know, fully aware that you are not it. This is essential to enlightenment. Can't do it without that waking up. So the hue expansion ray moves through us. It's very patient. It will tolerate things to a point, and then if it gets past that point, it will just take negative things right out of the playing field. I mean, kill bodies, waste. It's blown up entire planets before just to start over. Wiped them out. This is different now. It's not doing that anymore. There's no golden age to iron age anymore. That's done. It's over. The poles of this planet would have already flipped and wiped out all life here if this wasn't true. So there are things that people on Earth that are exploring truth, hidden truth, extraterrestrial life, God, the supreme being, whatever you want to call it, that they have to go through some significant transformative change in order to be aware enough to accept their own true nature as a being without fear, without compromise. with the certainty of knowing. This is why we're doing this. It's really the only reason I'm still on this planet, to be honest with you. I mean, why else would I care to be here? To be unconscious with everyone else? I've been doing that for billions of years. I'm not doing that anymore. So I want to help you all. It's like it rubs off. If it rubs off on me and Torellian rubs off on me and Satnam, it should rub off on you. Because it's a channel, you know, it's not a psychic channel. It doesn't have positive and negative, fickle natures and up and down and sideways. It moves one way and only one way. Now it moves through everything from the highest reality, goes up through the poles of the axis of galaxies and is sent back to source. It's a sign of infinity. It has to go through doorways that are concentric generators between the vibration of the hue that supports the physical galaxy and the astral galaxies of causal, mental, etheric, the void, and then higher. The void is made of pure hue expansion ray energy now. There's no negative nature in it. There's no things in it. So many people make the mistake of calling it a void and saying that's the realm of the Supreme Being. It is not. There are beings that live in that void that maintain it. I've met them. They don't look human. You got to be ready for that experience, because you have to, if you go through that test, you have to be able to respect them on the spot without getting weird and they look like, you know, swamp monsters from the Black Lagoon with fish fangs, and, you know, that kind of perception is missing the point because they have Atmas hovering above those forms. And those forms are invisible to people that go into the void, almost for everyone. So the beings that run, there's two things. There's beings that live in the void to maintain it, and there are beings who maintain the void directly. We're going to meet those birds with the V-split tails on our journey. They actually are like silent mentors. They maintain the void. Beings do that. Beings, spherical beings, actually maintain creation. Silent mentors are spherical beings, but much bigger than us. Twice as many teardrop levels of spectrum of light, more colors than we know of on Earth. And they function so that they can handle maintaining creation on multiple dimensions, instantaneously, anywhere and everywhere. They're the most advanced beings in existence. Almost nothing is talked about them in any spiritual, religious organization that's been found on Earth. Almost nothing is available on them. Now, they're the most important beings, but the thing is, they've never in the past actually had an association, direct connection with beings, people like us. They're too far removed from consciousness of people on Earth. They're too far removed from Galactic Alliance personnel. But they know of them now, and they meet with them when we go on these journeys. The Galactic Alliance Council will be going with us on this journey. 5,000 members. Why? Because they can go across the void without subconscious minds and bring everything back and distribute it to the hundreds of billions of people on 450 million spacefaring worlds in an instant. They have no blocks. So the more they do this, the more they want to help change Earth, because Earth people cannot fix it in time without destroying themselves first. This is known in history. You don't even remember your own Galactic Alliance history, your own galactic history. Not just Lemurian Atlantis or places like that, but way back further than that. So when they bring back this energy, they're helping all of us. And it's up to us to embrace or accept the gifts they offer. Number one, master teachers will not impart any kind of freeing gift to any of us until they know if we're given it, we will keep it and use it wisely. And they know. You can't hide, you can't finagle them or fool them or anything like that. So they want us to succeed in one way. This is all different now. We're living on Earth in a most trapped of planets, in the middle of a transformative energy change in all of creation that began above the void. It's pretty interesting. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody else on Earth actually taking people into or above the void. I doubt it. I've looked at all the gurus from India that are very popular, that dance on a stage and have millions worshiping them, putting them on a pedestal. They don't even know about the hue, much less the void or anything higher. They don't even speak of it. Why? What is the deal with Earth's atmosphere? One thing is because the hue charged in the H2O is so low. It comes into the atmosphere anywhere to keep us alive, but it should be glowing.
Yeah.
Waters on Earth should be glowing a foot above calm ocean waves. When that's in charge, there are no earthquakes or tidal waves or volcanoes or anything. It's under the control of beings who are supposed to be co-creators with Source. And people on Earth, 8 billion of them, are not doing their job. They're doing quite the opposite, as fast as they can. Because they've been falsely indoctrinated to believe that an Armageddon will be good because they'll be saved and go to heaven. Baloney. They've been on worlds that have blown up before, and they're still here. The people that were on Maldek that blew it up thinking that came here. It's compulsive behavior to blow it up again. Subconscious. We're not meant to have subconscious minds. Consider that the failed experiment of good and evil is the creation of subconscious minds. It means something can be done to you that you're not aware of that'll influence you against your own will, or misdirect the will you have to wake up and be free. Now, that should resonate with all of you, because you are the Atma. You are knowers. You're not believers. You used to know this stuff before this life, long ago. Well, you have a right to acquire it or wake it up again. It's like becoming enlightened isn't growing into some kind of a mutation or some kind of a evolutionary change like bodies and things go through. But we're not bodies and things. We don't evolve that way. We have to wake up what we already are and have the wisdom incorporated into our being to know that when it is awakened this time, we'll have the wisdom to utilize things correctly and not be suckers and not be trappable ever again. And we become co-creators with the Source. That is the reason we exist. It always has been. Problem with people on Earth in particular is they're not living that purpose at all. I don't blame them. How can I? Look what was done to them. They don't even know what was done to them. So how are they supposed to change? It's a contradiction in terms. It's hypocritical. I don't know how to describe it. As loving and kind as the beings I work with and who work with me and all of you are, they look kindly, though, at the Earth as a planet of lunatics. Because it is. It's very far from normal. And their worlds are not like us. So if you have a whole presence of these beings coming here and everybody's reacting on their individual radical faith beliefs and political ideals, they're going to be in fear and attacking and each other and anybody that comes here. Right? We all know that. They will. They're doing it to each other now, so they would do it to them even more strongly out of fear. In Hollywood, you got movies that come out about outer space. Most of the biggest budget, highest grossing films in all of history, I'd say 90% of them are about outer space, one way or another. That's contradictory. People want it, but they want to keep it as an entertainment. They don't want it living it, because then they have to be responsible. What I mean by responsible is we have to accept that we were partially responsible for the creation of the failed experiment of good and evil. Each one of us. Can't blame it on the devil or a God or a savior or a Buddha or anybody. They're not to blame. It's easy to have a scapegoat because it keeps you stupid, living a whole life. To wake up means you have to be responsible. That is no punishment. There's nobody up there punishing any of us for what we did in the past. There's no way for a physical body incarnation to become perfect so you're enlightened after 1 billion lives. That's nonsense. There's no such thing. What we have to do is drop all attachment to negative things, particularly fear, because it's artificially implanted emotion. It's not even real. It's not even part of who we are as an Atma. There is no fear as part of the Atma itself that we are. None. Never was. That's what we're waking up.
So
Because
how to drop? So
yeah,
how to drop it? So how to drop it then? In other words, drop the cloak. But if it's implanted around my field, how do I move through it and
you
bring
can't.
that?
You can't
Okay,
by yourself. No, you're
okay.
on Earth with almost no higher faculties turned on. A few. You know what you are now, and that once that hue crosses your path and you know what you are, it's not reversible, Virgil. Fortunately for us, it cannot be reversed. It means that you're starting to be drawn back to Source and trained by Source itself. Let's put it that way. And all the beings
Mhm.
that revolve around the Source are beyond masterful, and they are involved in fixing things now. Can't do it without them. We're not supposed to do it without them. You got it. This is a matter of humility, not making ourselves a doormat in front of such higher beings, or worshiping them and putting on a pedestal. Because it's the principle of physics is if you have someone on a pedestal, every time you try to go to it, it's moving away from you. You can't get to it because we're supposed to be like this, not like this. This is positive and negative. This is not. And we are already this with Source, which happens to look just like this, but much bigger. It's not an individual. Yes, it has to be respected because then you're respecting all that exists through it. And then you have the whole current of it flowing through us, unlimited. That is how we're meant to live. While we're running bodies or having babies or growing up, except we know what we're doing. In normal worlds, they know this. Some people on Earth do not. Long lost that ability to understand what they're doing here. So that's a big problem for people on Earth because they don't really have the free will they think they have. And when they choose a free will certain directions, if it's influenced from something negative, that's not a correct choice. And they'll face the repercussions of it. Because the law of physics kicks in then. Every action creates an equal and opposite reaction in space-time. That includes emotions, feeling, and imagination. Because the universe is created from imagining something, and the power is the astral body, the emotional charge. And if it's distorted and out of balance, you got problems,
Mhm.
because it's not quite getting through. All of your emotion you experience in your life running a body on Earth comes from your astral life. Next dimension up, major division. Doesn't even come from here. All matter is moved from emotion there. All causation is moved from the causal plane. All mental thought from the mental plane. Etheric, that's basically almost pure with a little negative in it. And it's meant to prepare people to leap across the void and go home. But that's not what beings living there are doing. Except when we go on these journeys, we go beyond that. Go to Source and come back and bring it back to those forms. We're going there to get enlightenment awakened in us. Blending inside the Source itself. Not losing ourselves as individuals, and coming back. That's what we should have been doing hundreds of billions of years ago. This whole thing would be different now had we been doing that. The difference is that now we're starting to do it for the first time in all of creation. Things are now different, and they're permanently different. They cannot go backwards. Because if we had our way, we'd be thrusting ourselves back into the toilet all the time. Doesn't work that way anymore. Because if you don't have true free will, how can you be left on your own to decide what to do on a planet full of 8 billion people who will destroy themselves with that supposed true free will? And they wouldn't be able to help themselves. That's not free will. To me, there's only one true free will. The will and the conscious action of co-creating in a benevolent way with the source energy itself. 24/7 through all the bodies we have. That's enlightenment. And it doesn't end there. Once we're that fully aware, bodies that you're running now can go to 4-stranded or even 8 or 12-stranded DNA. This is just common science in the physical universe as well. But there are bodies out there that are human that function quite differently than ours here. And they don't need to eat food to get nourishment. They do it for pleasure. It's not the source of their nutrients. Neither is food on this planet for us, but we're so far down the scale of not having enough fuel around us, and the atmosphere is depleted, that we can't do it. So we eat and slaughter things and eat animals eating animals, people eating people, people eating animals. It's not that it's bad or good, it's just that it keeps the Atma unconscious. And it makes the Atma not remember what it was really like and what it could do before this was taken from them. When something like this occurs, there are two factors. What you did to yourself out of guilt, in ignorance, and what other beings forced on you as tyrants to control you in galactic history. The history you had before this life on Earth. That's how you ended up here with no memory. We're going on this journey to do one thing, and that is to go get enlightenment and bring it back with us to our lives on Earth. First, though, we want to return through the other bodies we're running that I know most of you don't even know what your career is in the astral, causal, mental, or etheric planes, or what you're doing there, or how long it lives. But you are one spherical being running all of them, whether you're unconscious of it or conscious of it. It's automatic. It's subconscious. It shouldn't be subconscious. We leave the astral body in the astral dimensions. We leave the causal there. We don't mix the two. That'd make you nuts on Earth, like a bag lady pushing a shopping cart talking to things that can't live a normal life. You start mixing the astral with the physical and the laws don't work the same. Emotion doesn't move matter here. Physical effort does. You mix those two up, you're in trouble. So we leave them where they are and then get them cooperating. Now, does that make sense to all of you?
That's really a great explanation, Scott. And if everyone, bottom line is, I've worked with all of these technologies here, Gestalt therapy, behavioral modification, cognitive stuff. And the bottom line is, my experience, all that stuff does is move the dust from one room to the other.
Exactly.
That's it.
And you don't even have a vacuum cleaner.
Oh, yeah. And I have many.
That's why they say it. That's why pardon my pun. That's why they say it sucks.
Yeah.
Any of you, before we start, we're already on the journey. We have been telepathically on this wisdom journey. It's moving through me from Turellian and Source, and it's passing through you, so you're not going to forget any of this. You can't anymore. You're becoming responsible co-creators. You can't forget. And if you think you've forgotten, then you're just doing it to yourself out of habit. You really don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to. Fear affects the adrenal system in the nervous system. So you feel this weird thing, right? And it tends to make a person dwell or think or imagine negative things because it's an adrenal rush you shouldn't be having. It should be balanced. So if some implant or some fear from the past surfaces in your life on Earth, and then you get afraid of dying or death, and it's about the body dying or death. It's not about you. You can't die. It's just impossible. There's no Atma can commit suicide. That's quite impossible. It's not physical energy. You can't kill it. Nuclear bomb wouldn't hurt an Atma. Not at all. Just blow up everywhere around you. Just be sitting there in space, and everything else would be blown up. Bodies would be blown up. Planets, buildings, and things like that. So I guess it's like people of Earth need to reverse their polarity completely. From thinking they're a body, wondering where their soul is, to being a soul and wondering what they're doing with their body. That's what you're doing now. It's reversed in you now. The way it should be. Does that make sense to you, Vince?
Yeah, I can follow that. Yeah.
Good. Because as you're following it, understand this. I'm not giving you this information. You say, yes, I know that because it's waking up in you. You already knew it, even if you're afraid to know it. It doesn't seem logical. Well, nothing on Earth is logical anyway, is it? Does anything people are doing on this planet seem logical to you?
No.
So there are preparations that must be made first for a open disclosure of extraterrestrial life to take place here. And that's way bigger than just people finding out there's beings coming here from other planets. Hell, everybody knows that. It's just so carefully classified. Do you know how many trillions of dollars of tax money has been spent to keep a lid on this thing? They're stopping it. It's too expensive. It's too costly. Tell the truth. Everybody relaxes. Cancer goes away.
Yeah.
Tension. It's got to go. The only thing we ever have to get rid of completely in our eternal journey in creation is fear. Nothing else ever has to be given up except that. Otherwise, we're co-creating with the failed experiment of good and evil, aren't we? Thinking in opposites, dwelling in opposites, the hue manifests both in whatever measure you put out. That's life for people on Earth, and it is not normal life. When we go into the hue, what we're doing, literally, it's not my vocal cords. Well, yeah, they're being used, but it's not the sound that they represent. The sound of the hue is not a physical sound made by vocal cords. But the round hole tone from the first half of the word human that we resound with vocal cords, or even silently in our own being, is not being done in the brain. It's the Atma resonating, connecting to the source energy that it's part of already. It can't develop that in the future. It already is connected. It has to wake it up that it's doing this all the time, or we wouldn't be alive running bodies. Bodies don't run themselves. There's nothing that can run a human body except an Atma. It gets its source energy to run the nervous system through the pineal gland from the Atma, or it doesn't work. Hearts don't work. You don't breathe. You're dead. This is the way it really works. It's so common sense and so easy to understand once we remember what we are. People on Earth don't know what soul is. They pray to it. They blab about it. You know, I did it myself. I said, that's not... How do you become aware that you're a spherical being like a sun? Always have been. Never been different. How do you become you are the same as Source itself? The energy is identical. It makes up the entire Prime Creator itself. The whole ocean of sound and light. Same thing as you. Identical. Completely identical. So what are we waking up? That. Because unless we do that, we're floundering around the ocean with, water wings flapping our arms trying to survive above the waves. And the waves are made of the hue too. They could support you and levitate you right above the ocean. If vibration was high enough, we just levitate right out of the water. That's child's play. That's easy stuff. People in the Galactic Alliance aren't wasting their time focusing on levitation. Some more.
So, Scott,
yeah.
when I go into the white core of my being and using the hue, what else can I do that will help me co-create a process for working with all these other bodies that are obviously out of alignment with my conscious intention here physically to be happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise all at the same time?
Well, I think maybe we're going to go to, people talk about MedBeds, right?
Yep.
They exist, but not on Earth. I don't care what anybody tells you. You can't go anywhere and sit in a med bed on this planet. Or if it is, it's classified, you won't get anywhere near it. And they wouldn't be the med beds as they work out in space. They'd be military industrial complex reverse engineered med beds.
Okay.
So think about it this way. What does giving such technology to a whole planet openly do to the financial structure and political and religious structures of this planet based on money? Think about it.
Yeah.
Big problem,
sure.
Right? Everybody gets it. Well, you can't just displace everybody working jobs in this system. There has to be a way to transform what they know. While the planet's being transformed, they're being transformed. It has to be simultaneous. There's no other way. And that takes a massive undertaking from off-world to even care to want to come all the way here and fix this place. Why not just let it blow up again? Kill everything on the planet and then recolonize it, start over. Well, how many billions of times do you think that's been done and the universe has not changed one bit in several hundred billion years? Stuck, stilted, stultified within itself. The lower universes of time and space were built as fixed and finished. Biggest mistake we ever made. Because then you can't change it. You can get out of it and go home and be different and come back and change you. But you can't change a fixed and finished universe that silent mentors maintain that way, unless the silent mentors change and want to unfix and unfinish it so it can change into something wonderful, something like it was meant to be, which is to be mirrors of the upper realities above the void. That was the original intent. We failed. It didn't work. It backfired. That's why it's called a failed experiment, because it is. Something else has to take its place that works, that provides a wisdom with that enlightenment that cannot be reversed. This is where the Hue expansion ray came into being, with that understanding. Only took a couple 100 billion years.
So how do I then use the Hue expansion ray consciously?
We're going to go to MedBeds, not here. We're going to go to a special facility in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy I've never taken anybody to before. And you're going to sit in these white beds in a circle around a core energy. And then some of these beings can play with your innards, so to speak. You know, try to get some things passed through the blocks. And then we'll take that energy with us back to the etheric, mental, causal, astral, and physical bodies on our return. We're going to end up on a luminous, emerald glowing beach. On Earth, but not the Earth you know of here. It's an Earth third parallel dimension up where no negative nature is in that atmosphere, nor in the beings that work there. None whatsoever. So we're going to pass into normal world Earth. The prototype moon that is perfect and has oxygen, atmosphere, turns on its axis that we're supposed to have, is already there in place. Silent mentors can duplicate that and superimpose it over the moon we have. Easily. Without effort. If they want to. That's a bit beyond the Galactic Alliance capability. Silent mentors have to be involved. And they are. But they don't normally interrelate with any of us. They're not supposed to be our master teachers. They are mentors directly of the Say rays. But who talks about the Say rays on planet Earth? Almost nothing is mentioned about them anywhere. And they're the most important beings to come to know exist because they handle the mechanics of creation. You want to change something? They got to do it. And they're not going to do it if they're not aware to do it or don't want to do it. So you could say that the silent mentors had an awakening. And the master teachers had an awakening above the void. And Satnam was most definitely involved because I was there. And so things started changing. You can't go create change in lower worlds without Satnam. And if Satnam isn't aware or doesn't care to change it, it ain't going to change.
And Scott, when did that begin happening?
10, 12 years ago, Earth time. It's very recent, which is why there's nothing built around it in organization on Earth, because it didn't exist before that. You can't blame anybody for not putting it out if they didn't know about it, didn't think about it, never dreamed about it. So, yeah. Silent mentors are
the universe. Yeah. So creation is now unfinished, and that is lower world.
Yeah, and it's unfinished. It means they're keeping it all in balance, because before, in great yugas of ages, they actually couldn't fix this problem with good and evil, so they wiped out the lower dimensions altogether and everything in it. It's just a big golden light void. They put everything back and stuck beings back on it, and the third time, guess what? It didn't fix anything. Same problem, because they didn't change the way they worked in the upper realities, which has to happen first. So they have to become aware of why they need to change it. There's no negative nature in their being, but they still have to be motivated to change something. So I wanted to make that clear, and I've made it clear many times. It's not that it fell on deaf ears, it fell on people afraid to know. But it passed through them anyway. They're changing. You see things happening now with the balancing of tariffs worldwide and the ending of wars. This is from the Hue expansion ray. It is being orchestrated off-world. It is not being originated here on this planet. That's why it's changing. That's why you'll have open conferences you can see on YouTube of classified senators and Congress people interviewing whistleblowers about extraterrestrials. Openly. Live. Like cabinet meetings. This is not being created by a political party, one or the other here. It's quite beyond that. The beings doing that aren't even aware where they're getting this help from yet. So that's part of what's underway. And we want to go become more knowledgeable and knowing about this, right? We want to be able to be changing ourselves as conscious co-creators to help it happen, not just sit back idly and wait for somebody to come by with a magic wand and do it for us without our participation. We have to participate. We caused it. Collectively, we did. And if we want to change it, bitching about it won't change a thing ever on any planet. We have to take action. I'm going to send out the Hue. Consider this last hour as just preparation. Because it is. But it's telepathic. That's not psychic. It's telepathic. It's a pure form of communication between Atmas. We've always had it. We always will. When fear is turned off, which certain beings are doing for your benefit now, whatever that fear may be, and we can go on the journey and gain real benefit and bring that back with us to Earth, to our lives on Earth. And it'll just move through us. It will not, you can't grab it in your hands. You got to let it pass through you for your benefit and encourage it to go on through you for the benefit of others. This is important, or we can't get free. We have to co-creatively be co-creators, not just believe it. And that means we start to be boots on the ground to bring this change into Earth's atmosphere. That means you're doing that right now on this journey. All of you. It doesn't matter whether you can accept it or not, or eventually I know from experience, you will simply know it and understand it as the Atma. And then you will enlighten your brain and body on Earth to accept this more and more. Because you're the master in a sense, or should be, of your bodies. So I'm going to send out the Hue, and I ask you to match it. You don't have to use your vocal cords. I would suggest you don't. Let's use what's real. And I'm simply shutting off your mics to get a better recording quality for this journey. It's good, but I don't want to risk it, so we should be ready to go. And if you need to, you can always turn your mic on. When I send out the Hue, what we're doing, first of all, there is a couple, a galactic alliance couple, not a federation. It's not Star Trek. It's a galactic alliance couple. These are normal people from other worlds. You can't even compare the intelligence they have to anyone on Earth. Because not only do they have photographic minds and are telepathic, but they live 1,000 years or many thousands of years. And what they do as trained technicians is keep any kind of subconscious sphere in your electromagnetic field turned off for the journey. They can't just take it out and do it for you, because then you're not involved in the process and then you get trapped again. You have to go through the process directly with their help. So that's what we're doing. When I send it out, Terrellian and other master teachers are doing it with us from space, outside of Earth's negatively impacted atmosphere, not in it. Out where there's a full charge of the Hue, out in the galaxy. So when I send it, match my tones. All of you are perfect singers in this way as Atmas. You always have been. You. The imagination that allows you to drive your car to the store comes from the Atma, not your brain. First rule of enlightenment is this: no imagination is emanated from your brain cells. That's not the purpose of the human brain at all. It passes through the body unconsciously so that you think you're doing it from your brain when you see things in the world, like going to the store. Your physical eyes are not seeing the store 20 miles away, but you see it in your imagination. You've been there before. That's the Atma doing that. It's exactly the same thing when you simply shift your attention to being up near the ceiling, looking down at your body, which is now in the trance state we call sleep. The same way you masterfully put it to bed every night. Complex process. But none of you have any problem with that. So where did you learn how to run a human body as an Atma? Not in this lifetime, I can tell you that. And this couple looks like Shantial and Tonaltial and Dantiam Lamtiam and many similar characteristics. When they show you a physical form that they project, it's not a physical DNA Atma or atom body. Dressed well, looks perfect. Like the image Satnam projects for us to see what he chooses us to see him like. His choice, not mine. And you're up near the ceiling, you have a spherical being to each side of you, and you are a spherical being, and you look pretty much identical. They're a little brighter because they have a lot more hue running through them than we do, but we're the same. And you're projecting a body that looks to be about 36 years of age, like a young adult. Perfect height, perfectly formed, perfectly handsome, perfectly beautiful if you're female. And this is what we show each other and have since before we stepped into the lower worlds. And that had to do with Satnam. Prototype. So once fear is turned off, we naturally have this ability awakened. We just know it. We've known it for billions of years. We show an image that looks like a physical form for convenience that's flawless to each other. So we can recognize each other. Otherwise, we're just Atmas floating around. And very advanced Atmas can recognize each other as individuals. But that takes a greater enlightenment and awakening to do that. So this is what we are in the hue. There's a white golden light. It comes from Source, which we just connected to doing those 5 hues. It is not in Earth's atmosphere. It is coming from outside of Earth's atmosphere. Directly through the couple that's with you and through you, keeping your body comfortable in the trance state called sleep. It's moving through you for your betterment, and then on and out through the walls of your home into Earth's atmosphere to begin to charge that atmosphere, a little here, a little there. It's for the betterment of all life. That's all life on Earth, not just human. It's one energy behind all things that run bodies. And those are Atmas, or bodies don't work. They're machines. Mechanical devices, the biological entities you might call them. Genetic entities, if you will. We are not the genetic entities we run. This energy brightens, and you find yourself in space in a circle of beings around Ambassador Torellian of the Se-Rays human race. Se-Rays, spelled S-E-R-E-S, when phonetically pronounced, sounds like it's spelled S-A-Y-R-A-Y-S, Se-Rays. Better to know this to respectfully call them by their true name as a race, because there is an entire Se-Rays race that are Atmas. They don't even have physical bodies anymore. So the real race isn't physical. And the Atmas, they are bigger than us, more kindred to silent mentors, not as big as them, but the mentors of the Se-Rays are the silent mentors. And one race they directly teach, I guess you could say, by direct example. Isn't it odd that people on Earth don't know a thing about Source? silent mentors, the hue, soul, or anything else. But they once did. That's interesting. So on this journey, we're in a circle around Turelian, and there are other beings here. Ramu's near Earth in the circle. His maroon-collared robe, short cropped black curly hair and beard, simple belt, a rope for a belt, sandals, holding the crystal staff, quartz, glowing. It's his trademark. It's actually a device, because the body he's showing you here is exactly like the one he has on Earth, with this Ankh symbol on top of it, eternal life. It's a device. It was given to him and several other master teachers, different rectangular crystals by the silent way, source itself. Let's put it that way. And they're custodians or caretakers of these devices. They exist when put together to take the student to the source itself to become a master in their own right. That's its only purpose, really. It can do other things, and does, but that's its primary purpose. So we see him the way he is on Earth, in the third higher parallel dimension, in a Himalayan mountain area, in a conclave within a spring-type environment. But it's on a big continent. It's not like the Earth in the Himalayas you know here. That's why it's always referred to as Shambhala or Shangri-La. You got to go through an interdimensional doorway to get to it, which is true. You do. But it's in the physical universe still. In space, you can see that Opelum, with his pale blue skin and jet black hair to his shoulders and green eyes, holding his right hand up with little webs between his fingers, wearing a Galactic Alliance blue-gray uniform, single form-fitting piece, you stick your feet into it, the footwear built into it. Galactic Alliance symbol on his right chest, silver golden galaxy, four-sided golden pyramid, quartz crown, three blue stars, cobalt blue and triangular formation above the apex of the pyramid. That's the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds symbol. It's way beyond Star Trek or anything else that was ever come up with for people on Earth. So here we are. Light C is up above Turelian, and Eta and Din are Drens from the Dren race from planet Oceania, where Opelum comes from. Their tails glowing like crystal opal in bright sunlight, standing on their hind legs. Big, bulbous blue eyes. Cute as the dickens, courageous to a fault. They're master teachers, but they are not human. The Atmas above them are quite bright. I first met Eta and Din over 100,000 years ago. That story is portrayed in the Emerald Doorway book. How else could I have come up with that stuff? I didn't learn how to write any of that or imagine it on growing up on Earth. Of course I didn't. It's too complex, too deep, too interconnected with source and master teachers. It's way beyond a lifetime. And I didn't grow up with a photographic memory turned on. It's still a mystery to me how I was able to do what I did. Against all odds. Against every odd. But it is here. And if I didn't have some master protection or guidance going along, as tough as this life has been, I couldn't have done it. And I had to be co-creating it with Satnam even to get it here. Where we go on these journeys goes far beyond what's revealed in the books. They are doorways through which we walk to go much, much, much further. The hue is the first sound behind creation upon which we travel, as Atmas, as spherical beings, not bodies. The light we see in any plane is simply an offshoot of the first sound. And we see that light not with physical eyes. If you want to see infrared, ultraviolet, X-rays, and all that stuff, those are just names for the same thing on different vibrational levels within the physical universe. Astronomical equipment can record what these galaxies look like in multiple colors. which represents both infrared and ultraviolet in those images you see. Human eyes cannot see it, so it has to be made up and printed for you to see it. But seeing it for real is different than seeing it on a print, a photograph. It's multidimensional in its characteristic. Might see is up above Et and Din, a Chinese guy, Fu Manchu beard, little curved hat, little esoteric symbols on his maroon robe. He has a body in the etheric plane only and works in the Hue Expansion Academy. Did you need to say something there, Renata? I'll just turn off your mic.
No.
Okay, if you need to turn it on, you can. We'll just get a better recording this way. Okay. So while I'm speaking to you, I'm not in my body. I am out in space with all of you. There's something I had to do, learn how to do, or fail, or not succeed, or not complete any reason for doing something constructive at all on this planet. It's strange, the transformation we go through. I was shy, introverted. I couldn't talk to people. I stuck my neck out and went to an invited conference in Norway, then Finland, which I helped set up. And I conducted these presentations to scientists. And that went very well. He grounded certain things into the earth, started something. It wasn't for fame and fortune, that's for sure. And when I stepped in front of the first group of people, I went around and took the mic with me and asked them questions like a pro. I was scared to death. But something else took over. And I stepped beyond those fears. They were still there, but they weren't master of me at that point. This is for the good of all life, so I stepped forward. And I've been stepping forward ever since to help co-creatively bring to earth what you're learning about and discovering now. There are master teachers, several couples of them, from the Galactic Alliance, in between each of you, standing in a circle, equidistant apart around Turelian. Turelian shows you an 18-foot tall body. Looks like a Greek god. Long, blonde, slightly wavy hair to his shoulders, big blue eyes, bigger than Earth human, slightly pointed ears, white gown, looks like a Greek god, bare feet, closed fists, thumbs up. A foot wide, thick, golden white light, brighter than the hue in space, is surrounding his fists. This is being brought down through an interdimensional doorway, up above Light C, just above Satnam, who's standing in space. And Satnam has a little white tunic dress on from his waist to his bare ankles, 2 gold bracelets on each of his upper arms, bronze skin, bald head, golden eyes, not yellow. Looks to be about 36. He's actually quite ageless. Above him is hovering a quite big Atma. Looks more like a silent mentor, but there's other things in it that aren't the same. And then there's 2 couples, male and female to each side of him. Single type of colored pastel gown on each one. Different colored skin, white, black, green, blue. Different colored hair to their shoulders. And a big Atma hovering above each of them. 4 times bigger than us, twice as many layers. Now these are silent mentors that have come below this void, they normally never do, and appear before a group of people going on a journey like this. Because we're going to where they are, where we can rub shoulders with them in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. We do this to get above the lower worlds of time and space and the problems we have with bodies there and all the unconsciousness. We aren't going there with those bodies. They're asleep in all the planes. Your astral, causal, mental, and etheric bodies either sitting down somewhere on a beach or standing up with the eyes closed in the trance state we call sleep. They're quite safe. You as an Atma are running all of them. They have been compelled by these friends of ours to go into the same state so they can be fine and turned off when we go above the void. You cannot take such bodies into the void. The molecular nature, the time rate of the atoms that make up even an etheric body cannot go there. So the only thing that can is us. There's a vortex above Satnam, white golden, hourglass shaped, turning clockwise with a blue-green light around it. Looks like water. Hard to describe, but I do the best that can be done. And then it's up to your own ability to see it. And it's turning clockwise. And up the other end of this vortex, which connects the top of space near Earth, bypasses the lower planes and connects to the void above the etheric plane directly. It's a conduit, a portal. So we don't get sidetracked in all the junk that's going on in your bodies in the lower planes. We'll come back to them at the end of the journey. Thought about doing some kind of guided thing where I take people to all their bodies. It's complex, astral, causal, mental, etheric, and introduce them, get them awake and aware of what they're doing in these planes. I may have to do that one day. Believe me, I know how complex that is. You think it's problematic dealing with your physical body and emotions? Try dealing with the astral body emotions. Stabilize that. I only know 2 ways I can do that. That's called Turelian and Satnam. Bring them with me, because they'll kick ass in ways I can't. I don't even want to. What I mean by kick ass is get them cooperating and awake. That's what I mean. When those 2 guys show up around one of your unconscious bodies, you're not going to be unconscious after that. They don't waste time on such silly things as not being effective. The sound of the hue is a Thai flute note, but it's not a flute. It's a high, thin note, but it's pleasing, it's drawing, it's like a butterfly being drawn to the nectar of pollen in a flower. It's source energy. It makes the white core of our being vibrate and light up. This coming from this vortex through Satnam, Light Sea, Etten Din, down into Turelian and out as fist, creates an oval, transparent, golden white light around us, basically forming the hull of like a spaceship not made of matter. Now we're going to be traveling in that form up into that void. First, we want to take a trip to planet Oceania. Watch Turelian. Now, Bao, I didn't tell you the 5,000 Galactic Alliance Council members out of their bodies because they can't go where we're going in bodies. They can't take their spaceships where we're going. Are in 3 concentric circles around the circle we are. And this form that Turelian's producing is surrounding all of us. It's gigantic. We're already in energy that has no space and time. Because above the void and in the void, there is no space and time. There's no past, present, and future there. Bodies are relative to past, present, and future, not the Atma. We just are. We always have been. So if I asked you how old you were before we go further on this journey, what would your answer be? It's not 1 billion years of 1 billion lives. That's Tinker Toys. You are as old as the source itself. You are an atom of the source. You came out of the source before the lower worlds of time and space were even built. This is who we are. This is not taught on Earth openly yet, except through this work. It will be. And not by me. I don't need to do this all the time like this. There's people more adept at doing that if they're allowed to be on Earth openly amongst others, then everything can change here. Turlian moves one of his fists with his thumb up, always thumbs up, always constructive, positive, out in space between the Earth and the Moon, and there's a flash of white golden light. We find ourselves suddenly above the Milky Way, going clear across to one of the other spiral arms, halfway out it, and hovering above a planet there, 4 times bigger than Earth, water covered. Few islands around the equator, luminous turquoise blue, slightly green ocean water glowing. 3 moons the size of Earth with dome cities on them. Oceans, yes, and land continents. Different positions. They're orbiting a trinary sun system. Big blue hot white young star, yellow sun like our sun, and a little red dwarf. The atmosphere, the clouds are a pinkish blue. And as we move down through this atmosphere with Opellum in front of the group of us, leading the way. This is his world system. He's master, teacher, scientist, and Dom is also a master scientist there. He has an immortalized body that's been the same age for 500,000 years. So we're seeing the form that is not material, dressed in a Galactic Alliance uniform, guiding the way. And the Atma's hovering above him is quite bright. As we move through the atmosphere, you perceive instantly that the water vapor is charged with the hue here, and it glows. The clouds glow. When we break through those clouds, we're looking in the distance at a huge curved beach off to the left, diagonally off to the upper left. There's a continent and a landmass, but we're seeing a gold sand glowing and a flat, glowing ocean a foot above the ocean waves, which are calm and peaceful. There's no polar ice caps on these worlds. There are no polar ice caps around worlds that circle trinary sun systems. And most of the suns in our galaxy alone are binary or trinary, 2 or 3. Earth is strange. It's only 1. The nearest sun to Earth's sun is a binary star system. This will give you a better picture of how things are outside of Earth. And then we find ourselves looking at a large island near the equator, a couple of little ones to the left and right, and there's a golden glowing beach. It's gentle curved around a luminous tropical jungle. The bark, sap in the trees glows. It's charged with the hue. You can see clear domes strategically placed, not strategically, that's the word, symmetrically placed in different places through the jungle in the distance, like triangular patterns. The domes are sticking just up above the tops of the jungle trees, which are quite tall. And so you're all on this beach, wiggling your bare toes in this golden sand. Now these are physical bodies that feel, taste, touch, smell, everything that your physical body does, but it's not made of atoms or molecules. It's a projection from the white core of your being, your prototype self. And that energy from that golden sand has a certain charge of the hue which naturally goes up your legs and out the top of your head and into the white core of your being. And then you can see Turlian standing offshore in this calm ocean water up to his knees in golden glowing. It's just, well, it's blue. It's turquoise blue with a slight tinge of green. And he's just smiling at you. He loves standing in it because that ocean water's charged. There's no earthquakes or tidal waves or tornadoes or volcanoes on these planets. No. The turbulence on Earth is a manifestation of the turbulence people imagine and bring into existence. They're in the way. That's the truth of it. And they don't want to face that responsibility. That's a problem. You can always blame it on someone else. It's easier that way. Etta and Din are hovering to each side of Opellum's shoulders. He's standing a little further inland on this beach. Etta and Din start flying through the air with their tails glowing like crystal opal in bright sunlight to show you how they dance. They can go 250, 255 miles an hour in their own atmosphere. They are anti-gravitic, propulsion-driven biological beings. Very rare that a biological being is silica-based, like quartz, not carbon-based like us, has the ability to do this. Partially, they've increased their abilities many times over by the influence of the Oceanian scientists when they first met each other. And then they'll spiral through the air and dart down in the ocean. The next thing we know, we're at the bottom, several miles down, at the bottom of the Oceanian Ocean, right in front of an entrance to a huge clear dome covering 3 golden-sided quartz-capped pyramids surrounding a long, low-to-the-ground ivory dome, like ivory white. And a blue-green lake, oval lake, and countryside laced with little white pathways and little curved ivory dome dwellings. Semicircular mountain range put there for the aesthetic beauty of the dwellers. These are big cities, big domes, but they're not congested. There are little waterfalls coming out of caverns flowing down to this lake for the aesthetic pleasure of the people who work there. And these are Oceanians. So you'll see many blue-skinned, pointy-eared guys like Opelum in through the dome. And then you see there's tunnel ways, spherical tunnels running at the bottom of the ocean in 3 different directions around the base of the dome that go to other domes you can see trailing away into the distance at the bottom of the Oceanian Ocean. They're very advanced scientists. And they know what they are. It's not a body. And we find ourselves in space. I won't visit Etendid's home in the volcanic chutes that are cleared out down there. We're going somewhere else. And when you look up above planet Oceania, there's that vortex with Satnam below it. It came with us. The next instant, we're in a circle, all of us, around Turelian, following Satnam and the silent mentors as they recede up into the throat of that vortex and disappear in a blur of light upward. We do the same. When we come out the other end, we're in another space altogether. It is a pale blue, brilliant, but what I call pale blue. I can't describe it any other way. It's brighter than anything like 10,000 suns below, but it's pale blue, luminous. This is the void. It's pure hue. There's no negative nature that we can bring with us here. Only the Atma can go here. And the form that looks human can go here too, because it's not made of physical matter. When we come out the other end, we're going further upward in this vast void that appears to be empty except for this luminous pale blue light. In the distance, we almost immediately come upon a long, curved, diamond white beach, quite massive. As far as you can see to the left and right, surrounding these luminous jungle trees, every kind of tree you can think of. The sound is, it's like men and women's voices, perfect vocal cords, singing the hue on multiple levels. And you can hear all the levels, and then it blends into one round whole tone, humming around us and through us. This is pure hue energy, and we're picking up on it. It's passing through us. And your feet are on the diamond-like sand, and Turelian's offshore, as if he's standing in water. It isn't water. And Satnam picks up a handful of this sand from the beach, throws it in the air, and one little particle, which is spherical, radiant like a diamond and round, passes into the white core of your being and makes it brighter. Then we're in a group around Turelian going over the top of the jungle, still following Satnam. And we stop because we're being met by these birds with long V-shaped split tails, rainbow-colored feathers, thousands of colors, blended perfectly. Twin sets of bird wings, male and female. Big Atmas hovering above these birds about a foot long, look like a blue jay with double sets of wings. Hovering around like hummingbirds. Each one of these comes in front of your face, and all 5,000 members, there are lots of birds here, and they stop 4 inches from between the brows of the beings these beings show as bodies. And there's a light shot from them, from the white core of the Atma, which is the size of a silent mentor, right into this form that we present to each other. It goes up to the core, and it goes out and it turns on a few of these little teardrops out in all the layers of color to the golden exterior layer. Then we're moving up over the jungle and we stop to look down on a clearing. Now this clearing has a 100-foot in diameter white stone floor. There's a 15-foot in diameter scalloped-edged fountain. The statue of Satnam standing in it with his palms open at his sides facing forward, and there's a white shaft of golden light, golden white light, pouring down through the top of the head of this statue, coming out the palms, filling this bowl. It's dropping over the scalloped edge in a radiant golden white sheet of light, vanishing in the ground. There's a sitting seat around it, like a donut, flat, like a white stone seat made of marble, 12 intricately carved scrolled legs supporting it. There are 12 golden hooks on 12 golden cups hanging on those hooks surrounding the outer edge of this fountain. You can come here individually when you want and drink from that fountain, and it will help you. The shaft of light coming to the shaft down into the head of this statue is Satnam standing beside it, pointing to it. And then all of a sudden, Turelian takes us all up that shaft of light, all of us. And we come out the other end, we're now in a much brighter cobalt blue space. Brilliant. There's no suns, no planets, no moons, no stars. Completely unnecessary here. This is not ruled by the laws of gravity or the so-called limited speed of light, which there isn't one, by the way, in case you're wondering. When we come out the other end of that vortex, we are in this energy moving towards one single thing floating way off in the distance of it. It's a single circular floating landmass. I could say it's the size of a continent, but it's bigger than that. And there's a white diamond-like beach surrounding the outer circumference, glowing. And the cobalt blue atmosphere surrounding it, below it and around it and above it, has the fine element of the white golden light of the hue expansion ray supporting it behind the blue. There's an emerald blue, slightly green wave crashing on this beach. It's continuous, comes up out of this light, and then crashes gently on the beach, and it continues around the outer circumference of the entire landmass back to where it started, and it never stops moving. There are 12 clear domes on 12 white islands further out into the sea of light around this circular landmass. 3 golden-sided quartz-capped pyramids surround a fountain, like the one in Satnam's realm, below here. And a couple, a silent mentor couple, is hovering above each one. Now, they are types of training facilities. You can see into the interior of this mountains, this complex, of 6 blue stone snow-covered mountains surrounding a donut-shaped emerald green lake, blue-green, and a blue glass-like tower, transparent, that comes off the outer circumference of this island, comes up to a 2/3 of the way up to a flattened spherical, like an oval. There's a fountain in it, no statue of Sodom. It goes up to a minaret point. That is the Hue Expansion Ray Academy Administration Tower. It's really a channel of light from source coming down into it. There is a training facility down inside the hollowed out interior of this landmass. Now that's a silent mentor training facility as well. From up above these mountains, you can look north, south, east, and west, and you can see that there are white roadways coming out of these horseshoe-shaped golden tunnels at the base of these mountains. It goes straight as an arrow all the way to the beach, through massive lands and mountains and rivers, and just massive. And they're like the spokes of a bicycle tire around the hub. And they cover the entire circumference of this landmass. And down each road, a turn to the right, then later a turn to the left, and out of these teaching facility clearings in each one. The vortex we experienced earlier out in space by Earth is still above us here, above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. What we want to do is go find this training facility that has these MedBeds I talked about in it. When you look down on this and you divide it in half and north and south like the quarters of a pizza, these white roadways go down the middle of it in each section, 2/3 of the way towards the coast, and turn right into a clearing. There are silent mentor teaching facilities in each one of those 4 areas. The other teaching facilities between them and before them and after them are master teacher facilities. The silent mentors keep this place floating here. In fact, they maintain all of creation. We're going to the left from the mountains, from the tower, to the northwestern quadrant. We're going down the one roadway that runs down the middle of that quarter, like the quarter of a pizza pie, to a clearing about 1/3 of the way down the road towards the beach. And then we're turning right into a very wide clearing. It's oval shaped, has a blue stone floor. There is a huge crystal clear, pale blue glass-like dome. There's a shaft of white golden light coming down into that dome from a higher reality. And it's surrounded by these 12 waterfalls. And they pour water down these waterfalls into a circular donut-shaped pool of luminous blue light that surrounds this dome. And we find ourselves with Torellian inside this dome. It's the size of, but it's just big. Bigger than a soccer stadium. There are beds, white, about 1 foot thick. And they are supported by 4 crystalline legs. They're like cylinders. And each leg has a different color of the rainbow. Blue, green, gold, silver. Any kind of color you can think of. And each bed is white. You find yourself standing in that body you show each other, this pure body, projection of your true self, simply lifting up, levitating off, and lying back on this bed. Each bed is in a circle around this white shaft, golden shaft of light, facing away from it. So your head's near towards the shaft of light, your feet are facing away from it. And then you realize this place is so big, there are 5,000 of these beds for all the Galactic Alliance Council members, including all of us. We're near the center by Torellian, standing in this beam of light coming from Source. Then the being you are, the Atma, is hovering above this body form. There's an energy of golden white light connecting the two, obviously. And then you see a silent mentor, male and female alternating between each bed. There's literally over 5,000 and whatever number we are. They are hovering just above each of you. The body standing in the air looks perfect. It looks, different colored gown, no facial features, white golden light for a face in which you can see levels upon levels of galaxies when you look into their face. And the Atmas hovering above those are 4 times bigger than us. Those are silent mentors. So here, we get to rub shoulders with people who maintain the creation, beings. Here, we get to realize our potential. The master teachers, some of who came with us, and many others, who teach in the Hue Expansionary Academy, are standing just behind the bed of each of you where your head is, with their 2 hands up with their palms facing outward. The shaft of light, golden light coming through Torellian, splits into beams into all of them, and it goes down into the head of your body. Now it makes a connection between this body. It goes down through the void, through Satnam's realm, and into the etheric, into the causal, mental, causal, astral, physical. And then it hovers near the ceiling where you are on Earth. A brighter flash of light through Turelian and a brighter flash of light through the silent mentor hovering above each of you, each an individual beam from source and beyond it, meet in the middle, in the heart center of the body you have on the bed, and your whole body glows with a checkerboard golden white light and lifts it, levitates it above the bed, and begins to transform it, begins to make it finer and brighter, your original prototype self. It begins to wake it up in other ways, new ways. And it lowers that body back to the bed. And that body lifts off the bed, stands upright, and merges backward right into the white core of the Atma you are. So there's just the Atma there now. Then we suddenly find ourselves going up the throat of this hourglass-shaped vortex up above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. And Turelian's still in the circle of us as beings. This is all of us now. No physical form, just the Atma. And we're shot up through the other end of that vortex until we come out into Agam Purusha's realm, many dimensions above the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. When we come out into it, we are in a protected oval light around Turelian, hovering in this fiery realm where the energies golden and silver and violet and purple and pink and orange and just fire and revolving all around us, roaring around us. And this big being, this white sphere of light, more than the colors of the rainbow, approaches us. And this being regulates the raw power that is manifested here from the ocean of sound and light above it. And he regulates it down into all the planes. And he does this with silent mentors as well. So this is what he does, nonstop, 24/7, never gets tired, never gets fatigued. There's no negative nature here. The sound is like, angels couldn't sing this beautifully. There's a tree in the distance, silver golden, massive. The roots curve down and disappear in this fiery light, like it's rooted into this eternal place. The top of the tree goes all the way near the point which goes beyond sight. The trunk of the tree is a golden white light, and it's transparent, and it's glowing. That is the tree of life. Every single needle on every branch of that massive tree, which would be taller than the Empire State Building, bigger than that, is representative of a place in creation somewhere. A planet, a moon, a sun, a star, a galaxy, a doorway, an interdimensional portal. It's all here in the tree of life. And he's given us permission to go into that tree, which we have to have. And then we're shot up the trunk of this tree. When we come out the other end, we're in something now much brighter. It is a cobalt blue space, way brighter. Nothing is here but one single silver golden galaxy turning in the center of it on its axis. There seems to be a hollowed interior with a white disc-shaped island in the middle of it, in the middle third of it. And there is a presence floating there, like on the front cover of the Emerald Doorway book, but much bigger. Many layers of teardrop-shaped faculties. It represents all Atmas in all of creation within itself. And so we are being moved by it, not Turelian, through these individual, what we thought were stars. As we pass by them, they're very far away from each other. And we realize these are individual spherical beings. They certainly radiate like a star. They're brighter than a star. And as we pass through them, we enter this void in the center. And it seems like it's way, way far away to get to that disc-shaped island. And suddenly we're hovering inside it. moving through individual teardrop-shaped faculties of what we call prime creator or source. And we're moved through these levels right into the interior white core. And then we realize our white core, what we are, is the same as source itself, identical, completely identical. We are individual drops in a mighty ocean of this stuff. Then you hear a deep baritone voice mixed with the angelic. I don't want to use that word angel, something even higher, this feminine quality. It has nothing to do with sexes or anything in the lower worlds. And it speaks to us and welcomes us home. And each of you will hear it in maybe a little different way. But it says, here in this island universe, at the center of all things, your source, your home, this is where you originate. And this is where you still are. And then you look out into these stars circling the center and you realize you're one of them. And you never left. This is true being. Everything else is just a mock-up, something you play with to gain experience and wisdom in respecting and loving all life. We are required here to become familiar with and know all life that exists in the grand multidimensional creation. It is required. The Atma you are is capable of this kind of multidimensional thinking and understanding. The human brain on Earth, no. You, yes. No fear is here, no subconscious mind. That's left in the electromagnetic field shut down on your bodies in the lower planes. Here, you have no negative nature. You never have. And then this presence says we must return or our physical bodies would perish all the way back down on Earth. The next thing we know, we are passing down through the void below Satnam's realm in this group of beings around Turelian, all of us. And then we come to the etheric plane. There's a golden shield of energy like a barrier between the void, this pale blue brilliant light, brighter than the golden sheen, and we pass through it. And you find yourself looking at you standing on an island, 80,000 of them. There's more than that. And each one has a palatial estate, like crystalline, and your body's standing on these massive steps. And it's a transparent physical-looking form. This goes beyond chakras, it's energy centers, but this is different. And so you see, you're standing, some of you are standing on the steps of one of these mansions on one of these islands, and all of you at the same time see your body either lying down, sitting down on a beach, steps of a mansion, inside a crystalline paradise, asleep. The Atma you is hovering by it. Satnam and Turelian begin to appear and stand beside you. And they wake up this etheric body. They get it to be aware. They suspend its negative hesitation to go beyond the void, which is really the Atma that does it anyway, and we just came from beyond the void. So you are now imparting this awareness to your etheric body. No fear. And then it looks up and sees the void. And then it sees Satnam in his realm. Then it looks down and sees your mental body. And suddenly you're on another island. Brilliant, vast world systems. Standing on a balcony or sitting down with a cup of tea. But you're asleep. The mental body is very refined compared to a physical body. Youthful, doesn't age, can live here for millions of years and still not grow or change. Same with the etheric body. So they suddenly stand beside you and get you to look up and wake up and look up and see the etheric body and look down and see your causal body. And now we're on an island, a tropical paradise of thousands of islands. Big oceans between them, but there's so many of them. There's islands close together with small little ocean ways and inlets all around them. This is a big planet. Let's just pick it as one place. And you're sitting on a balcony, all of you, some kind of balcony. These are domed homes. These are way different than Earth habitats. And you are sitting down or standing up by the railing asleep. And Satnam and Turelian appear beside you, and you are hovering there by it as the Atma, and it gets it awake. It shocks them. Spiritual shock, really. It wakes them up and gets it looking up to see the mental body and down to see the astral body. And the next thing you know, you're on other islands. In a pure, out of 140 parallel dimensions, you're on a very pure parallel dimension of the astral plane. And then Turelian and Satnam stand beside that body and get it awake. It sees you, the Atma, knows it's who it is, a projection from it. Even as an astral body, it's a projection. And looks up and sees the causal body and the energy of the hue expansion ray we brought with us, passing down through it. It looks down and can see your body asleep in the chair or lying down back on Earth. And there's this golden white energy that we brought with us to the ceiling. It's still up there. The Galactic Alliance couple is standing beside you, smiling, and then they vanish. And this energy is released. It goes down through your body, out through the walls. It connects to 3 pyramids on the bottom of Earth's deepest oceans, one in all out interior of a mountain in Himalayas, and it continues through these Satnam statue devices out to a much larger pyramid that is stationed stably between 2 stable asteroids in the asteroid field that circles in the orbit of what was a planet between Mars and Jupiter. Twice the distance roughly between those 2 worlds and any other planets in the system. And that was a planet that blew up and formed at its high speed around the sun, formed into an asteroid field. That's how it got there. It's not mysterious when you know the past. It's beamed from that pyramid, which classified Space Force and other people know is there. They can't touch it, they can't harm it, they can't do anything to it. They know it's there, it's classified, there's nothing they can do with it. It's beamed to the galactic core of our galaxy. And there's a white golden shaft up that center, not a black hole, just physical eyes can't see it, so it appears black or without light. But it's completely light of a higher nature. And then that energy we brought back with us for our benefit and through Earth and its atmosphere and through these pyramids and through the big one in the asteroid field now goes back to the galactic core and is sent back to the source where we just came from. This is the way we work with it. This is the right way to work with it. This is the co-creatively conscious and trustworthy way to work with it. It is the first sound behind all creation. It's the omnipresent living force, one power. It is not an individual. We are meant as individuals to work together and collectively with this source to do one thing. Make the lower worlds of time and space mirrors of the upper worlds. This is now our task. The energy moves down through your body, and as it does, it begins to look at your condition on Earth from the perspective of the astral, causal, mental, and etheric bodies aware of each other. And something is set in motion. It's beyond my understanding. It's source. It's one power, one living energy. It's brilliant beyond genius. But it works through beings who are brilliant beyond genius, who can be trusted with it. People on Earth can't be trusted with any of it yet, except a few. And they're very sparing about who they give these gifts to that free you from problems you've had for billions of years. They want to make sure we'll keep it and know how to use it wisely. That is the way the master teachers work. And we get to lead a little bit of a training with the silent mentors and master teachers on each side of us in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy and a special training facility. Because then the energy moving through the silent mentors and moving through it, Turelian as an example, moves through us in one way and out the other. And so we rub shoulders with being prototypes, with being a little bit of silent mentor, a little bit of master teacher kind of thing, something new. Because somebody has to do it. There's no ego you can bring with you into the void or higher. Ego is just body stuff. You can't bring that with you. So we're back here now. And when you're ready and comfortable, open your eyes. You can turn on your microphones. And you should have some questions this time, I would think. And if not, that's okay. Don't feel bad. You don't have to have questions. But if you do, now would be the time. Vince is up, Lee's up. Bernarda might be asleep, or maybe she's awake. I don't know.
No, I'm awake.
Oh,
I'm
very
awake.
good. That's fantastic. Hi, Susan. There's Virgil. Is Virgil awake? Virgil might have gone bye-bye. Did Virgil go bye-bye? I think Virgil went bye-bye. That's okay. He's still
like
working
it.
these. Okay, so it's my pleasure always to guide these journeys. Remember, I'm not the only one doing it. There's masterful guys way beyond me. But I have the privilege of doing it for introducing the hue expansion ray and transformation to this planet. That's my privilege. So it is a privilege. It's not for glory and power and fame. Most people don't even know I exist. But I do.
We know.
And if you do. So it's really good. I mean, it's so much fun to just be awake.
But Lemriel, I find it overwhelming.
That's good.
I need much more of this.
Well, you can do as much as you want. We might do one a week. No, probably once every 2 weeks. I don't want to overburden you guys with any of this.
Okay.
And it's not done for money because I could do many other
No,
things.
of course
make
not. Forget the
millions.
money. Money
It's
is
not about that.
American.
I barely make enough even now. That's changing because the promotion that's coming up, this audio book is the first of its kind on Earth. So I'll make sure
Congratulations.
that all of you will have a link or a way to get that. I don't know what's cost. Might cost $12 or $15. I don't know what's going to cost. But it'll be where you can go and listen to it anytime you want and come back and listen to where you left off. And that will be
Wait, it's just like
Audible.
Prime.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Audible. Because nobody sells MP3 audiobooks anymore because everybody rips them off. They can be copied.
Yeah.
And they just, there's no control of them. So nobody does that anymore. It will be at paralleltime.com. I've already seen the upgraded website. It's quite lovely. It's really good. So we're now.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's for your benefit. I mean, what am I going to do with it? I already know. I wrote. I created the audiobook. I know what I did. It's 11 Labs is a software that you pay. I pay like $100 a month or something to utilize it, and it uses real people's voices, and you select them, and then you have them speak the dialogue, the character, and the emotions. And you cannot tell the difference between a person in studio and the AI voice that's created from real voices. So it's real human voice based. Blew my mind. I had no faith in this, but when I started listening to how it sounded, I said, God, this is really good. That's just sound now. It's not visuals. I don't think AI visuals for films is very good yet. You can tell it's fake. Yeah. It's not very good. You need real people in motion capture suits to make them real. And that's very expensive to do that kind of filmmaking. So it can't be done just on the internet, on AI. It's not going to work ultimately. But this audiobook is unique because it has 66 different voices.
Wow.
Andy Serkis just did one that's 8 hours long for The Hobbit. And he used his own voice, took him several months in the studio, and he used his own voice to make up all the characters, Frodo and everybody else. Now, I would get kind of bored listening to just him do that for 8 hours.
Yeah.
I don't think I could take it. I'd rather watch the movie. Okay, good. But that's out now. But even with the wealth and power they haven't created what this audiobook is. Took 1.5 years to do it, too.
Yeah, sure.
I'll let you all know about it as
a lot of work.
You'll be pleasantly blown away.
Blown away.
Yeah, guaranteed. It's different. You read into it what you see and hear, but then you hear it. And the imagination is the narration of a British voice, very sophisticated.
Yeah.
And then you can imagine it and hear them speak and visualize the characters. And because you got to remember, this book was intended for film production. It was spun off from books, which were spun off from screenplays written for film production. That's how these books got published.
Mm.
Any questions about this journey?
Yeah. If we wanted to go on a journey away from here, are we able to request it, or is it better that we just follow one of these videos that we've been on? So...
Well, I can tell you this. Yes, you can learn a lot from videos you've been on reviewing them because you're really experiencing it. It's not mindless entertainment. But it's always good to keep going on the journeys because it's kinetic, it's live, it's with these guys right now. It's going to source and coming back. Most people don't have the awakened ability to see what exists in these places, right? So you have to have a guide or somebody that can show you the basics of what exists there so you know how to go back there on your own.
Right.
I always recommend people take one of these master teachers or ask to go with Torellian or Etendin or somebody as a companion, because if you get into any difficulty on these journeys, they can help you out of it instantly. So yeah, there's individual one-on-one journeys, but they cost more money than this. They're more involved. It might be 2 or 3 hours of work involved in one of those. And that was really started from the secondary implant removal and then primary implant review journeys. And very few people have taken advantage of that on this planet yet. There's not a lot. It wasn't the main focus of the work, and I didn't expect I'd be doing that forever anyway. I can't do it for 10,000 people, even 500. It's too much work. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So it's got to stay in small groups to get it grounded, and then it'll expand into some other form.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I'm not sure I have your question correct, but I think it's like, can you go on journeys specific? Custom journeys, yes, you can. Can you go on different group journeys? I'm about to begin 38 chapter journeys like I did with the series agenda for the Emerald Doorway book that has all the illustrations in it.
Right.
It doesn't have a special technique section to the back, but it does have a glossary of characters and terms. So I'll create special techniques. We're going to do one a week. It'll take 9 months for people to go through that entire book. And believe me, it will go far beyond what's revealed in the book. That's just the doorway we step through. But this has to go back into even my life, Melina, that I had 100,000 years ago as a Galactic Alliance person that came to Earth, and all of that. And the enlightenment that master teachers like Ramu and Opelum back then were doing, and Starlin for Calum, and just Etta and Din, that's where I met them. You know, they're still around, only they're master teachers now. They evolved a lot. These guys were pure to begin with. Loving beyond what Earth people understand. With each other, with their own 2 kids they have. On Oceania, they still have bodies that look like they do now, unaged, in 500,000 years. So they're pretty advanced stuff. And I love them. I adore them. We're best friends, really. They are on Earth. They may come to Earth one day and fly around. Maybe you'll see them. That'd be quite a surprise. And that would be good if
bring them.
Yeah, if it benefits you, just to see them and go, ooh, goggle, look, gee willy, that's not productive. But if it's experiential when they come, then that can be useful and beneficial to all of you.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great. Courageous to a fault. If they had to, they'd die to save your life. Humans won't do that with each other. What's that? You got to turn your mic on there, Virgil. Yeah,
Thunderbirds a go.
Yeah, just flick that little bugger on. There we go.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So now, did we go on the journey? Because I'm going to have to re-listen to this.
We did, man. You're going to be blown away. We got to sit you in that med bed. When you go on that second time, you're going to remember it all.
Oh, I got to the med bed, and after that, I just came back and I said, when are we going to start? Where are we?
That's good. That's good.
And
that means something's being done to you.
That never happened to me before on one of these journeys.
But I can tell you,
That usually
it's
happened
healthy.
to
It's healthy.
me.
Yeah, it's healthy and good. And did you make it all the way through, Renata?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. That's good
I
enough.
kind of floated in and out, but
Good. Okay. Good.
I stopped at the MedBed. I want to know more about that.
Well, okay. Here's what you do. You be
Okay.
smart. Be an Atma, not a brain, not a Renata of one life. None of your background and childhood. Go beyond that. Be the Atma, and listen to it next time as the Atma, not as your brain and body. Choose to do this. Listen to
idea.
it as the Atma, using your ears and eyes to see and hear, because it's a physical recording on the internet. I'll give you guys all the link to this. It'll be on my YouTube channel tonight. And you go and play it again when it's comfortable. When you're at peace, go into the hue, feel calm. Don't fear the future. Don't worry about the internet or what's going on around the world. The elimination of drug cartels is underway. I mean, the elimination of gangs is underway. The ending of wars is underway. So you guys don't have to worry about that. It's out of your hands. It's being done from off-world. That will help you understand things if you understand that's how it's being done. Or it wouldn't be done at all.
Yeah.
So then, you have fun with it. Plan on, like me, I would plan on going to a breakfast. I'd listen to half an hour, whatever, stop it, take some notes, get up and go enjoy myself and see how the hue is moving around me in the public of the earth. Because you're a channel for the hue expansion ray to bring about a transformation. It moves through you this way. That's how we earn our wings, so to speak. And then you come back and play it and have fun with it. Be in childlike wonder with it. Enjoy it, because you're going to find the second time you do it, and this goes for you, Virgil, as well. You're going to remember the stuff that went on here is beyond what you remember right now that you brought back to Earth. But when you do it
Even awake.
the second time, yeah, like in the morning with a cup of coffee or something.
Yeah.
But the second time you go through it, you're going to remember all of it because you were there. You want to bring this back to your Earth body. That's what changes. Any potential change is inherent in what we bring back. It gives us enough power, not personal power, but gives us enough of the hue to make change.
Yeah.
First in consciousness, then the body gets affected in a benevolent way. You don't want to stay on Earth in a 200-year-old body. 200 years old in the gravity of Earth. You don't want to do that.
No.
But you are not a body. You're not your astral, causal, mental, or etheric bodies either. They're just forms on those planes. You are the Atma. That's what's waking up. The bodies follow suit. The bodies follow the direction of the Atma. If, like what we did on the return, we came down through the etheric, mental, causal, and they start doing their job as your so-called higher selves. If you don't go get this with the help of these beings to kick their ass, they will not help each other. You all know that as well as I do. They just won't do it.
Yeah.
So
I find it really funny. I talk to other people like that, and I talk about what I do when I do my practices. And on this journey, it's like, what happened, Virgil? I don't know.
I think Virgil had fun laying in that MedBed so much that he says, "Screw the Earth! I don't even want to know."
God.
Screw the Earth! I don't even want to know about it. I'll figure that out later. Okay, it's all good.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
We'll have another one in 2 weeks. You're all welcome to join or not.
Thank you, Scott.
Great work, Scott. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having the courage to do this, because you're one of the few group people on the planet that can do this right now. You're spearheading the way for others is what you're really doing.
How can we invite? Can we invite just others to listen to?
No, because this is you get people. I would love it. It might make the work more successful, but they need to be prepared or it's going to go right over their heads.
Okay.
If somebody listened to this now, they wouldn't have any journeys, preparation, no books. How could they understand it?
No.
They couldn't. So it wouldn't do them any good. If you have someone prepared, it can do them good. But then that's not going on the journey, that's observing it like entertainment.
Yeah.
It's enlightening because they learn what takes place. But you actually have to go on the journeys to make real change in consciousness. You have to be on it. It's common sense, really. Think about it.
Experience, of course.
It's common sense. Well, then I will bring this recording to a close.